everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be diving into the new brand from Gwen Stefani. She launched a new makeup brand called Give, and I do know that I'm a little bit late to the review game on this brand. It's been out for a minute. You can buy her products on the Sephora website, and with the Sephora event coming up, I wanted to go ahead and get this review up so that if there was any products you guys were interested in, you could pick it up during the Sephora event. I pretty much bought everything in the collection except for one eyebrow pencil. They actually launched two eyebrow pencils, but I just chose one of the two. But I have all three of the lipsticks. So they're all the same shade, but they all have a different finish. One is like a matte lipstick, one's more of a satin lipstick, and the other one's a liquid lipstick, but they're all in the same shade. I picked up two of the four palettes. So I picked up Just a Girl. So this is Just a Girl. And then I also have Danger Zone, which Danger Zone is what I'm wearing right now. And I do a look with each one of the palettes. And I also picked up the Priming Oil. So this is her all-time Prime Multi-Use Prep and Smoothing Face Oil. But here's the thing about this. I'm not really the one that will share my full thoughts on a primer until I've used it multiple times with different foundations. I've only been able to wear this about 4 times now, so I have a little bit of an idea of how I like it, but I'll definitely share my thoughts so far and let you guys know how I feel about it just using it a few times. We're all aware that it is by Gwen Stefani, which I'm sure most of us know who Gwen Stefani is. I was actually a huge fan of her back when I was in high school. But a lot of actresses and musicians and stuff and singers, a lot of them are trying to come out with their own brand, and some of them are hit and miss. I think they saw what Rihanna did in the beauty world and they're like, ooh, I want to do that. Because let's be clear, Rihanna knocked it out of the ballpark. Like, she came out and just busted those beauty doors wide open, and she was here to play and she was here to stay. I've always respected Rihanna for that, because even in an oversaturated industry, she saw that there was a clear need for multiple foundation shades from the lightest to the darkest. And she came in and said, I am going to bring it, and she brought it. Rihanna has set the bar. Let's be clear. She set the bar when it came to busting in and doing her own brand, and she took it serious, and the people that she hired to work with her, they all took it serious, and they have an amazing, successful brand. I know that a lot of them in Hollywood are starting to do their own brands. Not all of them are worth it. So I'm going into this strictly keeping it about the makeup. It has nothing to do with Gwen Stefani. My review will be strictly about the makeup, how they perform, and what I like and what I don't like, just on a personal level. And no shade to her, no shade to anybody. It just is what it is, right? I like to keep my reviews based on the makeup alone and not so much the person behind the brand. Let's go ahead and jump into the try-on. I'm going to try on all these products, share my thoughts with you guys, and then of course I will also include some swatches and comparisons. And then once we get through all of that, then I will jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into these new products. I'm going to first start with this. So this is the All-Time Prime Multi-Use Prep and Smooth Face Oil. So this retails for $48. You get just under a full ounce. So you get 28 mils, which is 0.95 fluid ounces. So this is described as a hydrating, lightweight, multi-use, skin prepping, and priming face oil that delivers a smooth, dewy complexion. So it's for all skin types, normal, dry, combo, and oily. This lightweight multi-use oil delivers up to 24 hours of hydration and a smoother, dewy looking complexion. Use alone to prep and prime the skin, or mix with foundation for a hydration boost. The clean formula contains omega-rich oils, skin-soothing aloe, and meadow foam sea oil. So this has a 4.7 out of 5-star review on the Sephora website, and that's out of just under 100 reviews. So it seems like people are really enjoying this. So I love the packaging. I love the whole like bandana. I just love that. And I really like the whole overall vibe of the brand. Like, all of the packaging is just super kind of Gwen. Like, this is exactly what I would expect from her. This is what the actual bottle looks like, and I actually really like it. It's glass, so nice packaging. And I think I'm just gonna put a little bit here and a little bit there, because I don't want it to be too oily. So we'll see. So that blended in really nice. It feels pretty lightweight, so it doesn't feel too oily. I'm curious about this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on some foundation, and then we will get into the 2 eye palettes that I picked up. So let's go ahead and dive into the first palette. We are going to dive into this palette. This is called Just a Girl. It has 2 shimmers and 2 mattes. These feel really creamy. So I'm gonna go into this shade right here, and I'm gonna put this all over the lid and also sweep it into the crease. Now I'm just going to take a blending brush and kind of sweep it up into the crease. Now I'm going to dip into this shade right here. Oh, you guys, that shade is pigment. Like I just tapped it. So I'm going to put it here on the inner corner and also here on the outer corner. Okay, I'm gonna switch brushes and I'm gonna go into that shade with a smaller brush just so I have a little bit more control to add a little bit more depth in like a more direct area. Now I'm gonna take a blending brush and I'm gonna go into that pink matte and I'm gonna blend those edges and kind of blend everything together. One thing that I will say is that that dark matte is so pigmented that you have to be so careful with it, because if you're not, it will just kind of overtake everything. So I would definitely go in with the absolute lightest hand with that shade because it's kind of powdery. So as you can see when I put my brush in it, it's got quite a bit of pickup. The formula's creamy, but yet when you put the brush in it, the bristles just really pick up the pigment and you can lose control really, really fast. I want to go into this shade right here and I'm going to go into it dry first just to see what we get. Okay, so I definitely need to kind of wet that shadow down. I don't know if it's my brush. This is the Smith 253, but I can't get it to quite pick up. So maybe I need to dampen the brush. Okay. So I just dampened it with some MAC Fix Plus. Yeah, that works good. I think a finger would probably be better with this formula as well. So like if I dipped my finger into it and then kind of pressed it on the lid, yeah, you get a little bit more oomph with it that way. Now I'm going to take a small brush. This is the flat definer from Sonia G, and I'm going to go into that top shade and I'm going to place that like right on the center just to make that center lid kind of bright. Okay, so I went ahead and threw on a concealer. Let's go on to the lower lash line and then I'm going to kind of pull this whole thing together. I think I'm going to start with the dark shade. So I'm going to grab this dark shade with a flat definer brush. I'm going to bring this right here. Whew, that shade's got so much pigment, you guys. Woo! Okay, before I move on, I need to kind of buff that out. That shade just has got a lot of pigment and you just have to be so careful with it. I'm going to dip into the pink color and kind of blend it out. Now I'm going to bring it on the inner corner. Again, so much flippin' pigment. Yeah, I like that shade, but it's a little hard to work with because it's so damn pigmented. Like you just have to be so careful with it, because it just wants to overtake everything. Because it's like, and it's kind of made a mess. The dark shade has kind of made a mess all over my desk. And I'm also wearing white pants, so that's not. Okay, so I am struggling on this eye to try to kind of get it to not only match, but you guys, this palette's got a lot of pigment and it is a lot of work. It is a little bit more work than I prefer, but we're going to continue. I wanted to go ahead and try out this new pencil. So this is a 24-hour gel pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and put it here in the waterline. And I got to soften up these edges. I got a lot of work to do still. I got a lot of blending to do, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on and see how it stays. I will be honest with you though, as much work as it's been with this palette, I'm a little bit worried about that smoky palette. Woo! I'm going to put a little bit here on this outer corner, right there at the base of the lashes. And then I'm going to take a smudge brush and kind of smudge it out. So it smudges good too. We'll see how it stays in the waterline. I'm going to put some right here on the inner corner and then smudge it out. Same on the lower lash line as well, just to kind of get that depth. So I'm going to go ahead and go off camera, kind of finesse this and kind of fix it up and fix it as much as I can. And then I'll come back and we will get into the 3 lippies that I picked up. So I'll be right back. So I'm back. I've went ahead and put on the rest of my makeup, but I wanted to dive into the 3 lippies that I picked up. They're all red, but they're all a different formula. So here we have the lightweight long wear matte liquid lipstick in the shade Original Recipe. Then we have a high performance satin lipstick in Anaheim Shine in the Original Recipe. So this is refillable, by the way. So you just pop this off. And that is the lipstick. The packaging is really pretty. Feels a little cheap when you close it right here. I would have preferred a magnetic, but that's okay. Then we have a Original Me, which is a high performance matte lipstick in the Original Recipe. It smells like cupcakes. They all kind of have that like cupcakey kind of scent. It smells super good. Okay, so from what I've heard, just from reading comments and stuff, the lip products are bomb.com. So I'm excited to try it. So let's put on the matte first. This is the matte lip. And this screams Gwen Stefani to me. I really like this red. It's a good red because it has a good mixture of the blue and the orange. And so it's a bright red. I like the way that it looks. I like the way that it feels. And it does kind of brighten up the smile. And I'm here for it. This is really pretty. The other thing that I like about it is that it's not transferring on my teeth at all. So for those of you that like red lipstick, this might be something that you might need because this is really nice. Okay, so let's wipe this off and let's try on the satin formula. Okay, so I'm back and I have to say I prefer this satin formula over the matte just because of this beautiful shine. This shine is so pretty. I like the fact that they decided to create 3 different options of red because that's kind of who she is and they nailed the formula. So I feel like they put all the concentration on trying to get not only the right color but the right formula, and they nailed it. This satin formula is fantastic. And as I continue to keep talking and like my teeth kind of touch my lip, this is not transferring. Now don't get me wrong, it's gonna transfer like on your drink or your hand, right? So it's not like transfer proof, but it's very, very pigmented. So even though I just kiss the back of my hand, if I keep doing it, I still have a lot of that red on. So this is not only long lasting, and I still am maintaining the shine, right? After 2 kiss marks here, but it's not transferring on the teeth, which is kind of hard when it comes to red lipsticks. So they knocked it out of the ballpark. 100% fabulous formula. Nailed it. Let's put on this liquid lipstick. I'm going to do it without a liner. Wow. I even wiped off the applicator. I wiped off the applicator and I never had to go back in and dip. I went and wiped off the applicator all the way so that there was no big globs of, product sitting on the applicator. And there was enough on it to do the entire lip. I never had to dip back into this and apply it. I would recommend wiping off the applicator because you'll definitely have enough just on the sponge tip. This is not going anywhere. Let's do the kiss. A little bit. Fabulous. Fabulous. All three formulas, perfect. This is the final look, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I'd be wearing this red lip with this eye look. I am excited to wear this red lip with the smoky eye using this palette. This will be a gorgeous color combination. One thing that I do need to mention is that I was able to pull this eye look together, but it was a hard road. It's a very, very, very pigmented matte, and that dark just wanted to kind of overtake the look. I'm actually kind of happy that I used that palette first. Tomorrow when I go to use the Danger Zone, knowing that I'm hoping I will have better control when I go to use the palette tomorrow. But there are some pros and cons to this formula, so I'll definitely get into that in my final thoughts. But for now, that's it for this tutorial. Let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial using the Just a Look palette, and I will see you guys all in my final thoughts. But I am filling in my brows with this pencil, and it's working out really well. I like the shape of the pencil tip. So you can see that the pencil is really small. The shade that I have is number 4. But I actually really like this pencil. I really like the color of it, and it's got great pigment. I do like it. It is a nice pencil. If you're in the market to pick up a new pencil, the one thing that I do like about it is that the actual pencil itself is really small, and you're able to kind of make those small hair-like strokes, but it's not too small to where it completely breaks off. So I actually really like the pencil. Okay, so now that we're done with the brows, let's move on to the next palette, which this one is called Danger Zone. And based on my experience of the Just a Girl palette, being that these shadows are so pigmented and a lot comes off on the brush, I'm going to take my time with this. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to take my flat definer brush from Sigma, and I'm going to go into this light color right here. And I am going to bring that right here underneath the brow bone because I want that brow bone to pop first, and so kind of bringing it on here, brightening it up. Right now I just have like my concealer that I use for my eyelid primer or whatever down. So for the look, I'm going to start with the pencil, and I'm going to kind of use the pencil as the base and to kind of shape the look, and then I'll go in. I'm going to first put it on the upper waterline. I want to start with this color right here, and I want to put that on the lid and kind of blend it into the crease. And I'm going to bring that shade on the lid, which it is a pretty shade, and it's got quite a bit of pigment. And I'm just going to slowly kind of bring that into the crease. Now I'm going to go back to the pencil, and I'm going to focus this line right here at the base of the lashes. And then I'm going to take the smudge brush and kind of start smudging that out. I am also going to bring that right here on the lower lash line and also kind of smudge that out. And then I'll connect it to the upper. So I'm going to take the Refer number 26 brush, and I'm going to go into this shade. Anyway, I'm going to go into this shade right here, and I'm going to bring that right over top. I'm gonna dip the tip of my brush into this gray. And I'm gonna sharpen this right here. Now, I will be honest with you, this is not a look that I create often, but this formula, I don't know that I would do this with it. You can lose control very, very, very quickly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this up. Now, nice thing is I didn't get hardly any fallout. I went ahead and threw on some concealer. Let's go ahead and move on to the lower lash line. I'm going to dip into this shade right here, and I'm going to blend out that eyeliner with that shade and kind of blend those colors together. Actually want to brighten up the center of the lid just a little bit. So I'm going to go into this shade right here, and I'm going to bring that like right here just to soften it up. Now I will put that dark back over it, but I like having that a little bit more smoky, I guess. Okay, so then I'm going to go into the shade next to it and put it over top. I'm going to go back to that Makeup by Marrow brush, and I'm going to go into this shade right here. And I'm going to softly, now I have my concealer on, so I got to be kind of careful with what I'm doing here. I'm going to wipe the brush off, and then I'm going to go into the dark gray next to it. I almost want that shade to be wet down because I kind of have a feeling that that shade would be prettier that way. I'm going to grab this Smith 253, okay, and I'm going to dampen it. I'm going to try to find the best angle here. Okay, y'all, I think I'm going to leave it here, throw some lashes on, and then see what it looks like. It's really pretty, but my biggest complaint right now is there's too much gray that turns into blue. The eyeliner, number one, you can see it kind of blends into this like navy color. It's a blue base. So that's not my favorite when it comes to a smoky eye. Maybe even wishing this was a shimmer and not a matte with a shimmer. Because the problem with a shade like this is that even though it's got a little bit of specks of that gold in it, you're really not going to be able to see that. Because I think if that shade was shimmer and putting it there on the outer corner would be just popping. But because it's all matte with a little bit of shimmer, it's a little harder to use. It is. Okay, so I am back. I finished the rest of my makeup, put some lashes on, finished the other eye. I'm also wearing the Satin kind of shine lipstick, if you will, in the red, and it's kind of the perfect eye look for a red lipstick. I'm really enjoying this red. After I got done filming, I wore it the other day and it lasted for hours. It did kind of turn a little light pink by the end of the night, but you guys, it was still on and it is very pigmented. So this is the final look using the Danger Zone palette. I do think that this eyeshadow look turned out really beautiful, even though I struggled a little bit. There are some things that I don't love with this palette in particular, but of course I will get into that in my final thoughts. For now, let's go ahead and jump into the swatches and comparisons, and I'm going to swatch all of these products and compare them to many different products in my collection that I find, and then we'll get into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so I do hope that those swatches and comparisons were helpful for you. Let me go ahead and get into my final thoughts. I want to first start with the priming oil. Like I mentioned in the intro, this is just not something I can give my full thoughts on just yet, but based on wearing it a few times, I actually really like this priming oil, and I like it more than the Smashbox priming oil. So I've used the Smashbox priming oil in the past, and I feel like this one is not as oily as the priming oil, and it doesn't make my makeup slip and slide. So it does provide hydration, but it doesn't make me greasy throughout the day. So far, every time I've used it, I've quite enjoyed it. Let's talk about the eyebrow pencil. So I actually like this eyebrow pencil. I do. And I'm going to continue to use it because I've only used it twice now. It makes good strokes, and it's not too waxy and it's not too dry. It does have a good formula as far as that goes. I'm not for sure. I'm not ready to say it's like smudge proof and sweat proof and all of that. But so far, I really do like the pencil. It is a nice brow pencil. Okay, let's talk about the eyeliner. Like I mentioned in the tutorial, this turns blue. And it's not bad if you're going to use it in the waterline. But if you're going to put it on the eyelid and like blend it out and kind of smudge it out and smoke it out, just know that it has a very strong blue base. I like black eyeliners that as they smoke out, they maintain that black or a gray, but this one has a blue base to it. And that's just based on preference alone. So for me personally, it's not my favorite, but that doesn't mean that it won't be, work for you. Let's talk about these two palettes. These are hard to use. I play with eyeshadows all the time. I'm not an expert. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just a, fun-loving 42-year-old makeup enthusiast, but these are hard for me to use. And I play with a lot of different textures. As I've been doing my channel, I'm getting more and more experience with more and more different types of eyeshadows. And these are hard for me to use. I just would not say these are beginner friendly. And you have to be so careful with the way that it picks up in your brush, especially with the mattes. These palettes are powdery and they pack a lot of pigment. So you saw in the swatches, they swatch like a flippin' dream, okay? The mattes swatch like a dream, but they're so powdery and so pigmented that you have to be so careful with every dip you take. There's something to be said about a lot of pigment and how it blends. It's just not the best formula and it's not the easiest to use. The quality has to be there to be able to pack a punch and blend it out and not have any harsh lines, and you can blend out harsh lines very easily. With these palettes, they pack that punch, but then they're hard to blend out. Also, I don't like the shimmers in here either. I think they're really kind of patchy and kind of dull looking. Like this one in particular could have been so much prettier than what it is. Shimmers are kind of weak in my opinion. There's so many great palettes out on the market for $25 because you can even get a mini size Natasha Denona for $25. And you're gonna have so much better pigment, blend so much easier, still packs the punch that you want to build the dimension, but you can blend it out. Like, to me, these are just a complete pass. Let's talk about the lipsticks. So I think the lipsticks formulas nailed all three of them. Out of the ballpark, nailed them. You can tell that they spent a lot of time developing these. The matte liquid lipstick, phenomenal. In my opinion, this is a 10 out of a 10 when it comes to a liquid matte lipstick. I don't really wear a lot of liquid matte lipsticks anymore. I just kind of have pulled away from that. But for those of you that love a really great liquid matte lipstick and you want a beautiful red, gorgeous. Now, same goes for the lipstick formulas. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. If you're somebody that loves a matte lipstick, you will love this matte lipstick. So right now I'm wearing the Satin lipstick, which I think is my favorite of the three because I like it to shine a little bit. But this has been on for probably about 2 hours now. And it's not on my teeth. It hasn't been on my teeth once. And right now it's more of a pink. So it's faded a tiny bit to that pink. They knocked the lipstick formula out of the ballpark. And if you've been on the hunt for that perfect red, this is a nice formula, and this is a good red. I would say of all of the products that I tested, the Satin lipstick for the red and the priming oil are probably my favorite of all of them. Everything else I feel like is just kind of I don't really feel like you need it. Those are just my overall thoughts. Sound out down below in the comment section. Have any of you guys picked up anything from this new brand from Gwen Stefani? I'm so curious to hear your thoughts. Definitely share with us your thoughts on this collection. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.